what comes to your mind when you first hear coffee?
Very bad. I think I'll still have Bonvita.
If you don't have that cup of coffee, then you're visibly down.
There's also dopamine hit when you have a sip of black coffee or any coffee.
So like how coffee works, like how caffeine works is it has a half-life. Caffeine is not as addictive as people have portrayed it to be.
So it doesn't make you feel bad, but it does make you feel good.
I think it's a whole experience makes a perfect morning for me.
There's something called
was
coffee
why-
tonic that they
Okay.
make now. So it's like coffee and then they add tonic water.
Whichever brand is listening, if you're making cold coffee, please stop putting sugar in it. I love cold coffee.
Welcome back to the Consumer Show. Today we are getting into the coffee. Why coffee? Because I myself doesn't associate with coffee, and I want to know what type of coffees they are and what type of consumers they are. Maybe this can be a coffee with Uday or else a deep coffee consumer deep dive. Okay. Hi guys. You can introduce yourself, any of you, and just let us know what type of consumer you are in coffee.
Hi all, I am Pratyusha and I am an ardent coffee lover, and I think nothing and absolutely nothing beats a very good freshly brewed South Indian filter coffee. So now that you've understood, I am a filter coffee lover.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Pragya. In a nutshell, I consume what is called specialty coffee.
Okay.
So anything that is not instant coffee is the coffee that I like.
What do you say? Anything is not an instant coffee?
Yeah, so anything that's not instant coffee, and technically even instant coffee is not in the real sense coffee.
Okay.
So anything that's not instant coffee is what
Okay.
I consume.
That's new.
So I'm Varun. I just like having fun, whatever tastes good. I like, I'm not as hardcore of a coffee lover as Pratyusha or Pragya, but I like to experiment, try new things, and that's why I like coffee.
Okay. So first question I have is like, there are like multiple type of coffees. So what comes to your mind when you first hear coffee? Any brand or else any emotion or any certain image?
I think it's a whole experience,
Like, can you
especially growing up down south. A fresh cup of filter coffee and MS Lakshmi Suprabhatam playing in the background,
Okay.
and this cheerful idli cooker whistles and all of that makes a perfect morning for me. So I associate coffee with a good experience, a good chat with my parents or a friend or dear ones. So
Okay, it's all of an experience part.
yes, coffee
So
for me is an experience.
When was the first time you had your coffee?
I very clearly remember this, that when I was like 4 or 5 years old, I was down with fever, and I remember dipping a piece of bread in my dad's coffee cup,
Okay.
and I craved for more, and obviously my parents denied it. And as a child, I was only allowed to have, which was called light coffee. Now it's fashionably called latte, so which is like more of milk, frothy milk, and less decoction or coffee, so to speak.
So who introduced your father introduced you
Yes,
to coffee?
at home. So I am from Bangalore, so we have a lot of coffee. We at least have like 4 or 5 coffees a day at home.
Okay.
So I think it's in the household that we are all coffee lovers.
About you?
I think for me, I can't relate to that because I'm North Indian and like we don't consume
Here we're not
coffee.
talking about South Indian
No,
and
like
North
her
Indian.
whole-
Here we're talking about what type of
what I
kind.
meant is that for her, the culture started like at home
Yeah.
when she was a child.
Yeah.
For me, I think it started sometime around college.
Hmm.
One of my friends introduced me to like this type of coffee where you don't make it in a traditional pan with milk like how we traditionally consume
Yeah,
coffee
yeah.
in India.
Popular opinion.
Yeah. So I think so he showed me that French press and how to make it in that, and I didn't like it at all.
Okay.
I hated it.
Uh-huh.
And then I think cut to 2 years later during pandemic, I was very bored at home, so I thought why not give it another shot. I don't know why it popped into my head, but it did. And I think it just grew on me because I feel like coffee is a little bit of an acquired taste. Not everybody will like it in that moment, but I think if you give it enough time, it can really grow on you. So I think for me, because like pandemic, we were all trapped inside, so it was like a good escape. And I traditionally like to have my coffee with music playing in the background, like she said. That's something that resonated with me.
It's
So-
associate yourself experience.
Yeah, it's like it transports you outside of whatever physical space you're in for a little while, and that's just a nice experience, I think.
Uh-huh. You?
Yeah. So when you asked me what I pictured in my mind was that big Starbucks cappuccino cup.
Okay.
So my sister's actually like a coffee addict, and that's why my mom never let me have coffee. Because she's like, she already saw what happened to one sibling, one of her children, where if you don't have that cup of coffee, then you're visibly down. So I got into.
What do you mean visibly down?
You just don't get that caffeine kick, or like you just
Yeah.
you are missing that one beverage or like one part of your day. So then like you can tell that something is off with this person.
Okay.
Right. I mean, it's not that serious, but then like my mom tried to push me off coffee for as long as possible. For me, I actually like the entire cafe experience. As I said, I like to go try new things, try new coffees. So,
So first time you had your coffee in cafe.
so I started having cold coffee during college because I used to leave for college at around 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning. So cold coffee was the easiest thing to make at that time in the morning. So that's how I started getting into coffee.
Okay. So yeah,
I can
you want-
very well resonate with the visibly down part. So I'm like, if I have not had my coffee, don't talk to me. So
Okay.
yeah.
how
Oh,
many
wow.
how many times you consume a coffee in a day?
2 to 3 cups.
Yeah, same. 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm limiting myself to 2, and then like I just have like a green tea or something at night if I'm really craving it.
Okay. And tell me, like, I can see a lot of here. I can see a brew. I can see Continental, Country Bean. These are yours, right? Like, what's your favorite one and why?
So I will tell you a small story. So
Yeah.
like I said, I'm a filter coffee lover, and I've been having filter coffee for so many years. And at one point in my life, I started developing a lot of acidity because of having too many coffees. And that's when I quit coffee completely, and I was visibly down. I mean, I couldn't survive.
Okay.
So I think my parents.
You felt like missing something in your lifestyle.
Yeah, completely. I'm like, my meal is not complete if I've not had coffee after lunch or after breakfast. Like, after a good breakfast, the coffee is what completes my
Okay.
meal. So I was feeling very incomplete, and then I got introduced to this brand called Country Bean. And there are variant flavors in this brand, and I started loving Country Bean because it's not too strong on the caffeine part, and it's very flavorful. It tastes like a mocha, which is like very chocolatey, caramelized coffee. So I started developing love for this coffee.
And how did you discover this?
So one of my cousins ordered this to me like as a gift, and it was a pack of like 6 or 7 flavors. It was a big package, and I tried all of them. I liked the hazelnut and the caramel flavors the most. So since then I've always had coffees. Like I shared a picture with you yesterday where I had
it's
like
all
so many
empties,
empties. Yeah. So I would at least have like 2 bottles of this a month. So that's how much I loved Country Bean. And Continental is something that I've recently been drinking. So this is a little stronger than Country Bean. So when I
These
really
are the
want,
legacy brands, I assume. Like Brew and the Continental have been legacy brands.
so this is not instant coffee. This is filter coffee. This is Green Label Green Label filter coffee. So I mix 60-40 proportions of Kothas and Green Label to get that perfect filter coffee concoction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yours third wave coffee.
That's Varun's.
That's Varun's. Okay. What's your favorite brand?
My
and how
favorite-
you discovered it?
So I think I discovered Third Wave. The first brand I discovered was Third Wave because I think they made like the
In cafe experience you discovered?
not
or
in
else-
cafe, like ordering coffee.
Okay.
I mean like packs of coffee. So I think Third Wave was how I started, but I think then Blue Tokai really took over and overshadowed Third Wave by a mile. Then I started having a lot of Blue Tokai. Then there are like other brands that I'm now like trying out. So I tried out Coffeeza. Coffeeza is really nice. They make coffee equipment also.
And what's your current favorite one?
My current favorite is Araku.
Okay.
I really like
And
Araku.
why?
I don't know, just the quality of it is really good. The taste is really nice. And I've started ordering beans because I've gotten a grinder,
Okay.
coffee grinder. So yeah, the beans, they smell exquisite. Sometimes I'll just go into my room and smell the beans and shut the box again because it's like lovely.
Okay.
Sometimes even the smelling part gives you a
Right.
kick.
Oh.
It's not just the drinking. So yeah.
Yours?
So my favorite coffee is actually not here. I like cold brew because it's easy to make. It's convenient. I can just put it in the fridge and it lasts for 4 or 5 days. So I actually like Toffee Coffee Roasters. They do a really good job with their cold brew.
Yeah.
Someone recommended Sleepy Owl to me. I know like Sleepy Owl is not the
It's
best in
instant
terms
coffee,
of coffee.
right?
No, this is cold brew bag sleepy owl. So essentially, you just put this pack in a jug of water overnight, and the next day you have like a jug, like half a jug of coffee. Right. So toffee coffee is better. I'm not a big fan of this. It's okay at best. So I got this to actually fill my missing coffee hole.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is essentially like a pour over. So you put it over your cup and you can just pour hot water over it, and it does a pretty good job of making coffee.
Okay. So one thing I am I'm curious about, like when you say coffee, most of the people say it's a caffeine addict. You become caffeine addict. So how do you associate and how do you contradict to that statement?
I am not guilty at all.
Okay.
I am okay with the caffeine. I also have like frequent migraines.
Okay.
So more than that craving, I think it's become a necessity for
It's a
me
guilty
that-
pleasure, you call it as.
Yeah, I'm not even guilty. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I
love
think
coffee.
I agree with her because also there are like health benefits to coffee. Just by the way, having regularly 2 to 3 cups of coffee is known to like reduce risk of a lot of diseases. So that's one. As far as caffeine, I mean, I'd rather be addicted to this than something else. So I think, I mean, it's a great thing to be addicted to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and one thing, how do you judge a good coffee and a bad coffee? In a filter coffee as well as in your case and in your cold coffee, because you have a different. I'm missing the black coffee person here, but it's
No,
okay.
I drink my coffee black.
You also
Yeah,
black.
yeah.
Okay. So how do you judge the good and the bad? Like how do you rate it?
For me, if I go out to restaurants, I am never having filter coffee.
Why?
I have tea. I know it's very weird or whatever.
Are you like one of those I can make it at home, so I'm not going to have it outside people?
I actually make much better coffees than
Ah.
whatever is available in the restaurants.
Is it
Like,
because it's too sweet or something? Because that
so
normally
they
throws
make
me
it
off.
extremely sweet.
Yeah.
So if
yeah.
the coffee is not bitter, I don't know what's the point of having
I
it.
get
it
that.
overshadows the flavor,
The flavor
of
of the coffee.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Yeah, fair.
Adyar Anand Bhavan is one place where you get like very good authentic coffee. But other than that, I don't know. There's not many restaurants, at least in
So, but how do
Hyderabad.
you judge, like, if you have a coffee even outside, apart from even in filter coffee, how do you judge it's a good filter coffee or bad filter coffee?
I think the concoction, like the whole mix has to be very perfect. I don't like my coffee very watery. I want the milk to be frothy and there has to be some flavor. I should smell coffee as soon as I take the cup in my hand, and not every place you get that kind of coffee. So that's
So
how I
fragrance
judge.
matters to you.
Fragrance matters the most to me.
It's a highest form of
Yes,
judgment.
yes.
Okay. For you?
Taste, I mean, that's absolutely foremost. I think I like my coffee slightly on the bitter side. And like when you're having black coffee, but if it's not,
It's bitter actually.
it is bitter, but like there are varying degrees of bitter. So I
Okay.
like it on the higher bitter side. So then I try to have like dark coffee. So there are roasts of coffees, like light roast, medium roast, and dark roast. So the darker you go, the stronger it is in terms of intensity and the bitterness. And I like coffees that have less of acidity, that is on the lighter side. So like if you have a light roast coffee, you'll taste like it's slightly sour in taste. Especially if you have it black. With milk, you won't be able to discern
Yeah.
a lot. So I think taste is really important to me more than anything else. I think in black coffee, taste is the only thing that really makes
Then
a
you
difference.
judge the coffee as per the taste and all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so similar answer as Pragya. I actually prefer medium roast though.
Okay.
Because
In cold coffees, like you're saying,
yeah, so you can have cold coffee black as well, right? So cold brew, you just put hot water and then you just drink it as is. So there's not much milk in it. And same thing for the pour over. I don't really add milk to it. The thing is, again, like you can, so I've been to cafes where they actually burn the bean, like the
yeah.
actual bean, so that you can't tell about the quality of the coffee.
Yeah.
So it's like a cheap way to show that our coffee is good or like better than it actually is. I think Starbucks does something like that, right? But if you go for a lighter roast, you can also taste more of the bean and like the profiles, etc. So I prefer medium roast, but yeah, similar to what Pragya does.
Okay. So one thing I'm also always curious about, like, the branding of coffee. It's always an experience. But here you can say she said about fragrance, you said about taste, even he said a little bit of about taste. But like, how come the branding influence your choices in buying a new coffee?
Oh, yeah, branding, I think, yeah, I mean, so I ordered coffee from Araku and they gave it in like this really nice tin jar with like
Packaging.
a cork, what do you call, lid?
Stopper.
Okay.
Yeah, and it looks exquisite. Like it's just lying on my shelf, but it looks really pretty. So I think, instead of like a typical paper packaging, if like there's a tin packaging, I gravitate towards because then I can use that for other stuff, and it's nice to store coffee in a tin or a glass container rather than a plastic
So
container.
the branding and the packaging part influence your decision.
Absolutely. I mean, not to a great extent. If I know, like, coffee is really good, but the packaging is not that good, it's not like won't buy it. But packaging
chances
will
are low.
definitely make me want to try new stuff. That it will do for me.
How frequently you switch brands?
Oh, all the time. I get bored and then I try a new one.
How like
And there are
monthly
so-
once you try a new brand?
Yeah, I think I order coffee like every 1 month. So yeah.
How do you discover this new brand?
Instagram. Yeah, every time I search something and then the next day my Instagram will be filled with new brands.
Ads and all, yeah.
We were discussing just before.
He does the same thing.
Yeah. I let Instagram do it for me. I don't even have to search. I just get ads for it. So like if it looks decent and I check reviews, then I go for it.
And you've been switching instantly, but what's one brand you constantly have been having loyal to?
I think Blue Tokai I've had the most.
How many months?
I've been having coffee for like 3 years now. So, I mean, every 2 to 3 months I'll order Blue Tokai.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for the taste.
Yeah, I really like. Some of their blends are very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah. For like normal coffee, I still go to Nescafe and all. I'll have Nescafe like once a day probably, or like once every couple days. But then like if I'm going for good coffee, then like I think I'm on my third or fourth pack of toffee coffee, and otherwise I just keep on switching. So I think once or twice a month I just try something new. So I just go for like smaller packs and
Sampling packs you
yeah,
generally-
sampling packs, etc. Because again, like I like to try new stuff, right?
And like while trying a new stuff, like do you look at ingredients?
Yes, coffee.
How important the ingredients are to you? The ingredients of the coffee.
I don't think this question applies in my case because I just get the beans.
Okay.
So that's not going to have any ingredient, so to speak.
Because there are a lot
Yeah,
of ingredients
hers will-
packaging. They
So in
are,
filter coffee, there is something called chicory. As the chicory percentage varies, there is different flavors of
so
coffee.
you look at it while buying anything.
Not all the time, but the thing is, for me, more than brands, it's the place that I'm buying from. So there are these local shops in Chennai, Bangalore, Coimbatore, and Ooty, where you get very authentic coffee, like
Homegrown coffee.
beans,
yeah.
and then you make filter coffee with it. It smells amazing. I mean, I know I'm talking a lot about the fragrance, but it tastes amazing. It smells amazing. So I am not a fan of brew instant coffee or Nescafe instant coffee at all.
I can see like instant coffee is not a coffee for a serious consumer like you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of context. The problem with instant coffee, like she mentioned, so chicory is basically, it comes from this root. It's like a plant root, and they added to this coffee, like your base coffee, because it's a coffee substitute in
Yeah.
a sense, to make it also water soluble. So the coffee that like this would have or this would have, these are not water soluble. So you need a filter to filter it through. Second thing is they use the most inferior beans in making instant coffee. That's just how it is. Like, I don't know if there's some reason behind it, but there is like factual evidence that the most inferior kind of coffee beans are used in instant coffee.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's basically like, it's nowadays like you get like instant chai powder also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Versus like actually making chai with proper chai patti.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between like this coffee and say filter coffee or
Do you
ground
check
coffee.
the ingredients part?
No, not really. But branding and packaging does make a difference. So one of the larger retail companies in India, I'm not going to name them, they released a coffee beverage.
Okay.
They weren't allowed to use the word coffee anywhere on their packaging, but that's the quality of product they're putting out in the market.
Okay.
So then that puts you off, right? You don't, if someone who is even remotely into coffee like me sees that, they get put off and they're not going to buy that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it does matter.
And a few ads also influence us to buy coffee. Like for example, the brands that I named before.
Yeah.
Like you see those ads and there's like
Yeah, Brew is classic about their filter coffee ads
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
so
So how does the cafe experience coffee and your personal coffee differs? And how do you differentiate your coffee and the cafe experience coffee? And does it change your preferences?
I think for me, there's only limited things I can make at my home, like in terms of variations of drinks. So when I'm going out and having coffee, I would ideally like to have something that I can't make at home because I don't have that fancy equipment. So I like to experiment more.
Do you have a plans to bring your equipment at your home and make your own coffee because you also source your beans and all?
Yeah, I'm slowly like acquiring more and more equipment, but you know, funds
That's
are
a part
tight
of
'cause
the
I'm a
equipment.
Huh? Yeah, that's like a
You can
couple
show
of.
actually, like how do you see?
Yeah, okay, so this is an AeroPress.
Okay.
What you basically do is that you put a filter paper here and then you screw this on. In goes your coffee, hot water to brew it, and then you let it brew for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then you press this plunger, coffee comes out.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. And this is one. This is a newer equipment, but I started out with a French press.
Oh.
So the French press is also like fairly
Who
simple.
introduced you for this?
Sorry?
Who introduced you to the French press?
A friend of mine, that friend who
Okay,
I was
the
talking
same
about
friend
earlier.
of the
Yeah,
coffee.
yeah, yeah. I hated it.
Okay.
But then I started liking it. So,
Okay.
but French press is how I think everyone should start out.
Why?
It's the easiest. Like, this requires a little more understanding of coffee. This is fairly simple. So, you put in coffee, put in water, then you put this in, let it brew for 3-4 minutes, and then just push this down and pour it out. So all the coffee grounds collect at the bottom and all the coffee. But the problem with this is this has a filter paper, so it gives you a cleaner cup of coffee. This
Doesn't
only
have.
has like a mesh, so there'll be more particles.
Yeah.
It will not be as clean of a cup. So this is definitely nice. This is also pretty convenient. Like, but this is inconvenient because a lot of coffee gets stuck in the mesh and the spring here at the. So yeah. But there's only limited stuff you can make with this. So.
But coming back to our questions, how does the coffee preferences changes for the cafe as differs to your personal experience?
Yeah, like I said, I like to experiment when I go out. That's my.
And how frequent do you experiment?
Not as frequently as I would like to, but maybe like once a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which cafe you regularly go, and why do you particularly go to that cafe and have that coffee? Do you find a similar taste of your personal and the cafe, or is it completely different?
So like with cafes, I think I like to go to cafes that are like highly recommended or are known for their coffee offerings. Like here I've gone to Roastery and I really liked their coffee. And I think back in Delhi there were 2-3 other places that I really, and they were like around since 1950s. So they're really old coffee shops.
Okay.
So I like to go there and try out all the drinks they have there. Yeah.
You does a lot of review, right? Like you does a lot of coffee review.
Yeah, so whoever doesn't know, I actually review coffees for Instagram. I've started to recently actually. Whichever brand is listening, if you're making cold coffee, please stop putting sugar in it. I love cold coffee, but they put too much sugar in it. So normally when I go outside, I just have like a cappuccino or an Americano because like I like the taste of coffee at the end of the day, right? At home, I prefer having my coffee cold. So there's cold brew. I just make like a simple cold coffee, and yeah.
How does like cold versus hot differs in your choices?
So because I'm a filter coffee
Yeah.
lover, at home I like my coffee hot, but when I go out, I like trying cold coffees, especially because I like chocolate. So anything that has to do with like a cafe mocha or a hazelnut mocha, caramel mocha, I would like to.
Even in those coffee preferences, you judge it by the fragrance or the taste.
So cold coffee, I don't think it has a lot of
Fragrance in it,
It's
yeah.
not as strong as
The
with the filter coffee.
Yeah.
I like the taste. I go with the taste.
Okay. And the flavors of coffee, there are a lot of flavors in coffee, even like defined, like they have a lot of flavors. How does flavors like have impact on your purchase decision, or else in your choosing in your choice of coffee?
I like that bitter thingy. Like hazelnut, I think is a little on the bitter side.
It is,
It's
it
not
is.
as sweet.
Yeah.
They also have
compared
a
to-
flavors, right?
Yeah, so like country bean has a range of flavors, but hazelnut I think is a little on the bitter side. So coffee with hazelnut I think is fab.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you choose to have only hazelnut, or you
So
try
I tried caramel as well. It
Okay.
is a little on the sweeter side, so I would any day prefer having hazelnut. I tried their vanilla and mint chocolate. Not a fan.
So if a brand gives you wide range of flavors, are you willing more to buy it, or else not willing to buy?
Of course, I will be willing to try all the flavors.
Your case?
It depends. Because, like for example, country bean, I find that a lot of their flavors are very diverse. So normally, like what you see a lot of other brands do, they don't have flavors as such. They are undertones. So it's coffee with undertones of hazelnut,
Yeah.
or probably something fruity, chocolate, etc., etc. So then I like experimenting hazelnut, fruity, chocolate. I like hazelnut the most. Same. But then like if it's like a strong flavor, or like even like Starbucks putting flavor pumps, I'm not a big fan. I actually despise that.
And what's the worst coffee you ever had?
Instant by a mile. Instant coffee
Which
is
brand?
any instant coffee. They all taste the same. Like I don't think.
But like in a corporate setting, a lot of people prefer instant coffees and they do it
yeah,
frequently.
so I'm not against it, and I think whoever has it,
So
good for
you
them,
guys say
but
instant coffees are worst, and the worst coffees are the instant coffees.
I never said
It's
that.
not
Even the
coffee.
vending machine coffees are very bad.
yeah, the vending
That's
machine.
instant
Yeah,
coffee
that's
only.
also
So
instant.
that's actually like your cafe coffee day machines or Nescafe machines or Kota's machines. They actually have a premix of coffee.
Yeah.
So they just mix it with hot water and then you get your drink. Right. So they normally, if they aren't made well, they are horrible because you can taste the powder, no coffee, and it's just like a really bad beverage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like there's also a dopamine hit when you have a sip of black coffee or any coffee. So how does when you get that hit, you how frequently you want it again and again in a day?
Contrary to popular belief, I don't think it's like you want it all the time, every time. Like
But that's a more of a popular belief. Like you get the
so, like how coffee works, like how caffeine works, is it has a half life. So like every 1 hour, so like if you have a cup of coffee at 10 in the morning, every hour that caffeine will your body will eliminate half of the caffeine, and after that half of the remaining caffeine, half of the remaining, it goes on like that. So there'll always be some amount of caffeine in your body at all points in time during the day. So you don't really feel the need to have a cup of coffee soon after you've had your first cup. So I think like over the course of the day, once in the morning, once in the evening is enough. I don't feel like a craving beyond 2 cups. Sometimes I have 3 cups because I just feel like it, but it's not because my body is asking for it, so I need to have it.
okay.
But sometimes in my case, I've
Acha.
had like half a cup extra after that
Ha
one
ha.
cup of coffee because you love the taste so much sometimes. But yeah, I don't know so much science behind like what coffee does to my body, but I just love having coffees, and
Okay.
I'm okay having as many coffees as
Okay.
I can.
And what's like kind of a prices you judge? Like what kind of prices you pay for a coffee brand? Like how much you're willing to pay? Like what was your the first experience to till now? How much you upgraded, and now how much you're willing to pay for any brand, a new brand which resonates your tastes and fragrances and your cold coffee brewing thing.
If I'm having coffee out of home, so like at a cafe or something, I think the max that I have paid would be around 400, 450
For a coffee?
for 1 cup. Yeah.
Okay.
Starbucks.
No,
Starbucks.
not Starbucks. There's actually this one cafe in Bombay called Java File.
Yeah, I
Java
know.
file,
Yeah,
okay.
it's amazing coffee.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm happy to pay around that much. I think 350 to 400 for a cup has now become the norm. That's fine. At home, I think it roughly works out to be between 50 to 75 rupees a cup for when I have coffee.
A cup.
You?
Okay, nice. So this is the costliest I've paid, I think.
For the whole box, you're saying there are 6
no, it's
flavors
like
or for the one?
50 grams is for 325 rupees.
Okay.
I think this is the costliest.
That is very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a cafe setting, how much you're willing to pay?
I am okay. I can experiment. I think the costliest coffee I've had was for like 450 rupees.
It's similar price.
Yeah.
You feel satisfied after paying it. You feel the
If
for
I
the
like the
experience.
taste, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think for me also outside similar price range, 300 to 400 upward, not more than 500. I would say that's like my hard stop. I think. In terms of like making coffee at home, so I get a pack of either ground coffee or whole beans. 250 grams costs about 400-500 rupees, and that lasts me for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 times a day.
Okay.
So yeah.
And one brand of coffee you want to remove from your coffee consumption. Which one it will be?
For me, it's just Green Label. I'm bored of it.
Why?
I've been a loyal consumer like from the past 20 years. Now I want to try new things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why remove it? Let it be there. No nostalgia.
So the thing is, I've been having this with that.
Yeah.
And I started with like a 60-40, 60 of this, 40 of that. And then went to 50-50. Now I have 60 of Kothas and 40. So I think I'll slowly stop consuming it.
Fair enough. I don't think like I have hatred for any brand, but because Nescafe is like the flag bearer of instant coffee, I maybe just remove that. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the canteen that I have access to, they give brew coffee. That's horrible. Yeah. That's
Basically
getting
instant
chucked.
coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Pragya, here we have a non-consumers. They have a coffee, like I assume it's for while occasions of peer pressure or something. So we'll start with the question of why are you not a coffee consumers?
Probably from childhood, like I've been brought up in a home where I was given like milk, like Boost, Horlicks, those kind of things. And like I mean, having coffee was kind of an adult thing for me. Like
Okay.
even till the age of 20, 21 also, I don't want to shift to that so that I feel old. So I don't want to feel old when I start drinking coffee. That's the perception I have
Okay.
when you're drinking coffee.
That's unique actually.
That's very unique. And I mean also like my parents also, they don't drink very often. They drink like once in a while. So they're not like
So
very
once in a while
avid.
in the sense once in a day or in
Maybe once in a day. That
Okay.
also might not happen sometimes. But so I've grown up in an environment where I was not like habituated to coffee or tea as such.
Okay.
And also like I love sugar. Like I have a lot of sugar in anything that I have. So having that bitter coffee is something very difficult for me to adapt. Like all these guys were saying ki
Bitterness
they love
is-
as like more the
Bitterness,
bitterness, they love the coffee. So it's like even if I have some kind of coffee, it has to be with like 5-6 spoons of sugar. Otherwise I don't think I'll try also.
You?
Right. So I have seen friends and family drink copious amounts of coffee. So I did not want to get into that thing where I cannot function without coffee. So I just refrained from it. I didn't want it in my system.
It's kind of a scary
What was
moment.
like the worst experience you had like with people not being able to function? Like what was
Like
the
it's
worst you saw?
not being able to function, but like, oh, I need a coffee. Like I cannot go through my day without a coffee. Like people saying that around me. Maybe it's not really true that you cannot really go through your day without a coffee. But I just didn't want to, be dependent on something like that. So yeah.
Okay. But like she has been like same like you until recently 3-4 years she
Yeah,
started.
3-4 years. I started in 2020 like drinking coffee
Right.
properly.
They have been a perception thing. But like have you ever tried something like to look beyond the perception?
Yeah, so basically during the pandemic when we were all in the houses and there were trends, I remember the Dalgona
Yeah.
coffee trend. So it's not like I've never consumed it. Like in Calcutta is big on food and beverages. So whenever I go out with my friends are like big coffee lovers.
Yeah, Indian coffee house.
Yeah, Indian coffee house. We have Roastery. We have a lot of other, like we have all Blue Tokai and all of them. So whenever I'm hanging out with them, I'm the only one ordering orange juice at Blue Tokai.
Okay.
So like I have definitely tried, but I feel like I get that kick, and like if I drink coffee even at like 10 a.m, I have difficulty sleeping in the night. So I do not like that dependency.
So it's more of a mental perception you built over the years.
Could be, or maybe because my body is not immune to coffee, it really gives me that kick. Though I like that kick sometimes, but like I don't want to be not able to sleep because I
Of
had
some
coffee.
caffeine,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So for you, Gopi, like you said it's because of childhood, but I assume you've been into a lot of social settings. Didn't they pressurized you to have any coffee or some other drinks,
Yeah, everyone like
chai or something?
Pratyusha is the friend from 6, 7 years, so she always tries to
you never had.
me coffee, but I always have. If there is any other alternative, I'll have like juice, milkshake.
Coffee is like your last
Last
resort.
thing,
Last
last
resort.
drink I'll
Oh my
have.
god.
Okay. So if you want to tell them 2-3 good things about to try out coffee, what will be the first thing? And if you want to, I want you to tell one thing to break their perception, to break the myths of their perception. What will it be?
To be very honest, caffeine is not as addictive as people have portrayed it to be. Like I've gone few days here without coffee, like not drinking coffee.
But
at
do you
all.
not feel like you're dependent on it? Oh, I need my cup
Not
of
really.
coffee
Like, my
to
days
go through
were
the
just so
day.
haywire. I didn't get time to make coffee, buy
Okay.
coffee, have coffee. I didn't have coffee.
Okay.
So like it didn't feel like something's missing from my
So
day.
it doesn't make you feel bad, but it does make you feel good.
Yeah,
when you drink.
yeah, that's a best way to put it. I think like
Yeah.
I don't miss it, but when I have it, I'm
It's
happy.
a good to have.
Yeah,
Right.
and like I said earlier, like health benefits are also quite.
So tell some
tremendous.
health benefits so that they can break the perception. Like
I mean,
I typically
they're
want.
prolonged death. I don't think there are any immediate health
So
benefits.
like if you want to convince them and say one thing about your coffee experience to break the perception and try develop interest on coffee, what will be that? Can you convince them?
That's a very tough job, man. Because he's just like, coffee's my last resort. How do I
But
get
that's your expertise needs to work here actually.
I mean, I think like if you like sweet beverages, then I think cold coffee is definitely you're in. You should try having cold coffee.
As a beginning.
Yeah. That would be because there's the perfect balance between coffee and also something other than just coffee. So cold coffee is a nice segue into
Because
trying
he's
coffee.
more into milk, that's
and
why
it has
you're
a lot of
suggesting.
milk,
Milk,
also.
yeah.
Yeah.
For
So,
her,
for her, because she thinks she'll get addicted. I think like maybe 1 cup a day.
she has a
you
strong mental perception, like one thing she said again and again, like I can't survive with coffee is one thing she don't want to say.
Like I do, like I also love beverages. So yeah, cold coffee I've consumed. Like I like the Vietnamese cold coffee from Blue Tokai, I think.
Oh, so
But
you
it-
do
it
like
ha-
coffee.
it-
So she likes when in a social setting.
It has copious amounts of milk and sugar, so it's quite
that's so
sweet.
wonderful
So
way
I
to
think
have coffee.
I drink that as a substitute. I like treat it as like a milkshake or something like that, and I drink it. I don't drink it for the coffee, but yeah, as Uday said, it's just in a social setting. I wouldn't drink that if I had other better options.
So the thing is, the more frequently you have coffee, like in cold coffee, if you have
Yeah.
it, the more you have it, the more you become accustomed to the taste, and then you're going to want to have stronger coffee because then your palate will not be able to sense that level of coffee after a point. So then you'll want little more.
like whenever I've tried those,
So-
But if you want to pitch her one thing from your experiences, as you said cold coffee for him, so what will be for her?
I think she said no, she likes that Vietnamese cold.
But that's the social setting, right?
yeah, it's not like I like it, but I wouldn't mind having it like once in a while. Like it's not my first option. And I've tried those flavored coffee, like cherry flavor or like what apple flavor.
You
yeah,
liked it?
they have cranberry
yeah,
flavor.
cranberry
yeah,
flavor.
yeah.
Yeah, no, not at
So
all. It
one
was like
really nice. Like
why are
have you-
people having that?
there's
That
something
was
called coffee
my-
tonic that they
Okay.
make now. So it's like coffee and then they add tonic water.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you like beverages, like I mean, I think she should experiment more with like different, not your traditional like
Why
cold
she
coffee.
should experiment is the reason I'm
Because
asking.
she loves beverages, that's why. So I think that would be like a good way because then it's not just about coffee, then it's like the whole beverage.
So like when I tried the cranberry cold thing, so I did not like. I just thought only if it was cranberry juice, it would be so much better.
Okay. You did
So
like
she's
it.
mostly into beverages, not into coffee.
But it seems
Yeah.
like if you enjoy experimenting, then
Yeah.
try
Give it a
wacky
shot.
combinations of coffee. Maybe something will hit.
But
and
what will you
you'll-
break the perception? What will you do to break the perception?
That caffeine is not as addictive that I don't know who's spreading this rumor. It's not as
They have been
addictive.
believing it
They
20,
are
21 years actually.
I think our smartphones are more addictive. Does that mean I'm stop going to use, using my? No, I won't.
No, I see all the students going
Right.
to get a coffee in every break, right? They go,
That's
they
just
go after
'cause
every
they have
class.
nothing better to do. And
No, like running between the breaks. Oh, I really need a coffee to
Yeah.
make it through the third class of my day. I need coffee to make it through my 8 a.m. So
I
I'm
think that's
like,
a bit of an exaggeration. Like, I've been having coffee for a while now. I don't feel I have to rush, get coffee. At least for me, that's the case. Maybe other people feel differently.
Okay. Are you convinced a little bit of about her experience?
Yeah, maybe if they put 6-7 spoons of sugar in it. I
Yeah, that you can put by yourself also.
yeah,
Who's
but
stopping
that reduces the health benefits, right? Because coffee is undoing the sugar is undoing the
Coffee
health
experience.
health benefits of coffee.
My perception is different. Like, it's not about the health issues
But
or
it's not
the
like you're
addiction.
stop going to
It
having
is more
sugar
about it is too bitter for me. So
Okay,
So for bitterness, you
yeah,
try to
bitter.
avoid it.
Yeah.
put more sugar.
Okay.
Oh, then they have like coffee and ice cream combinations.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are also really nice. I think you should try that. Yeah.
Like some
Like
kind
a
of milkshake.
Like a affogato. Yeah, like a affogato.
I know all of it.
If you want to pitch
like,
one of your like any of your thing, if you want to pitch her, what will it be?
I think cold brew she'll really like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but with some something added to it. Like I said, they have now like these coffee mocktails, cocktails where they add like coffee and orange juice is also a very common combination now. Yeah. I mean,
okay,
don't
orange
knock
juice
it
is
till you
my
try it.
orange juice is my favorite drink. I'm not sure if I wanna.
So maybe it's like you should try combining the two.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think for her, because she likes beverages as a whole,
Right.
then you should try like go beyond your traditional hot coffee, cold coffee, and try these weird mocktails.
Are you willing?
I'll think about it.
So the good thing is Lakshmi went and made her coffee. It's what coffee you made, Lakshmi?
So I made a coffee out of this country bean hazelnut.
Okay.
So I put like 1 spoon coffee and half spoon sugar
Okay.
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 into this.
I want you to do the blind test and tell the taste,
Smell
fragrance.
it before you taste it.
Have this fragrance, taste it, and give a review.
Is there like a way I spin
And
it?
don't
and
you have
like,
to say something as good as Vataj.
No, give your honest reaction. I think did you had it before? Like
I've not had this.
no. In general, the hot coffee you had somewhere.
Yeah, I've had sometime in my life.
Okay.
I've had.
For
but-
you, it's the first time you're having this.
This is the first hot coffee in my life.
Oh.
I
Taste
don't
it.
want to try it actually, but
Taste it and let us
Is
know.
this instant coffee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sip.
very bad.
You can say.
Extremely bad.
Let
but
me try.
Okay.
As she said, let me smell it first.
It smells good.
It does not smell like hazelnut. I expected like.
Okay.
No, it's become a little cold now.
You're having a sip, another sip.
No.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, like a lot. Like I've had Nescafe and brew. It tastes like one of those.
Okay.
Instant
Not any
coffees.
special thing.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe 5 more spoons of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
5
It
more
would have
spoons
been
of
better.
sugar doesn't
Yeah.
make it coffee.
It's a sugar
That's
drink. then.
exactly what.
Gulab jamun ka wo.
So like they tasted it and they have it, Lakshmi. So if you want to pitch another brand or the same brand to enhance their experience, to try let them try the coffee, what's the one thing you want to say?
I think country bean, you can
Not
have it
country
as,
bean or any other.
yeah, like for instance, because it's country bean, for you to like it, because you like cold coffee, I think country bean can make very good cold brews. Like the same thing if I would have given you with like 1 more extra spoon of sugar and like some ice cubes, he would have loved it.
Not loved it, but yeah.
No, I think he would have loved it. And Sreedipta already liked it. I think she needs more coffee powder into it because she said she doesn't taste hazelnut much.
It tastes like okay.
I'm sure it doesn't taste like brew, please.
But they have a mental perception that coffee is bad. How do you how do you break it?
I mean, what do you do when you're sad, happy? Like, what do you drink?
They're saying like
What do you make up to?
if you're taking a coffee, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's what the perception is.
So can you go through your day without a cup of coffee?
Who, me?
She
Yeah.
can't.
I can't.
See, I don't want
So
this
that's what she
dependency.
doesn't want. Like, if you want to break that perception, what will you do? What will you say to her?
But why should you go without coffee? It's good.
Well,
You do have water, right? Like to be hydrated.
Oh,
coffee
that's
as-
too much of comparison.
No. I mean, it's.
No, I'll just have a plain huge glass of milk if I have to have some beverage.
I'll choose orange juice.
Early in the morning. First thing in the morning, you have orange juice.
Like, if I had to, I'd choose orange juice over coffee.
I think like you should picture something like a winter morning where you want something warm, cozy,
Like a hot chocolate.
A little bitter than that. If you like dark chocolate, I'm sure you like coffee. Once your palate gets used to drinking it.
Yeah,
If
so
you
I
like
hate
that.
dark chocolate also. Maybe that also.
I think he has a problem with the whole taste.
I think
Taste
it's
of
just
it,
the
yeah.
bitterness
Part of
of the thing.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
like bitter things, I'm sure like
No, it's
might like
okay. It's
coffee.
not like I love bitter things. But yeah.
Okay. So, if you want to pitch another filter coffee or anything to them, what will you say to them? Because you're being adamant of filter coffee, how good it is and how's the experience attached.
So I also feel like if you're non-consumers and you don't like bitter taste at all, I'm sure it'll take some time for their palate to get used to this
Acquired
kind of
taste.
Yeah,
taste.
but that's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah, so
Acquired
it will take
taste.
some time for you guys, but I'm sure like once you start having it, and I think you should associate coffee more with like experiences, and I think that's how you can start off. Like you can start having filter coffee with bread or biscuits as your breakfast, and then slowly you can like start having coffee, just coffee, and then I think you'll get used to it.
Are you convinced a little bit? No?
I'd give it a shot. Like, I'd
Coffee with
try,
bread
but
or croissant.
like, but then I'll have to constantly keep doing it to build that acquired taste, right?
Make me your friend.
Yeah.
What about you, Gopi?
Yeah, I'll try. I'll probably try with lots of sugar in it first, and then maybe.
See, as Pragya said, like, it's more of a cold coffee thing. Will you try the cold coffee or the hot coffee if you want to try the coffee one?
I've tried a cold coffee like once or twice, but hot coffee I never tried. So I'll probably try hot coffee with more sugar.
Okay. So, Varun, you heard they even tasted it. Pragya tried. Pragya gave a cold coffee suggestion. Lakshmi tried to give them a coffee and rated. They didn't like it. She somewhat kind of tried it. So, if you want to turn them into a coffee consumer, what are the things you would pitch them?
So I want to understand from you first, what do you currently have? Like, do you have tea? Do you have Bonvita? What do you have?
Sometimes I have green tea,
Okay.
and otherwise, like, I have a lot of juices. Like, I love
Juices.
juices.
Okay.
Yes.
And you?
Yeah, I have juices, Boost, Horlicks, Bonvita.
Got it. So basically, you like your sugar,
Yeah.
and from what I'm guessing, both of y'all also prefer cold drinks, like
Totally.
on the
right.
colder side, right?
And also on a little healthier side because juices.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you like the healthy aspect of it, right?
Right.
Okay, so do you work out? I know you do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But
Not regularly, but
Right.
like
So
2-3 times a week.
coffee can actually help with that. Now the thing is, I'm not telling you to get addicted to coffee or like have a coffee every hour. No, you can have it once in a while as well. In fact, a lot of my gym goer friends, what they do is they mix instant coffee with hot water, put it in the microwave, just to get that one boost instead of a protein shake or whatever. I'm not telling you all to do that. That's an extreme. That's
Okay.
horrible. Please don't, for your own sake. But then you can have lighter coffees as well.
Okay.
You can have sweet coffee as well. In fact, coffee is now, they are adding a lot of different variations to coffee. So I'm saying don't be closed. I'm not going to say ki have Americanos, have cappuccinos. No. They are mixing coffee with orange juice. You can try that out. Give it a shot. See, sounds disgusting. You might like it.
Orange juice is my
Sounds
favorite
very bad.
beverage.
Yeah.
That's a failed pitch.
Coffee and tonic water, great drink. Coffee tonics are really nice. Just don't be closed. Try stuff out, and maybe you'll find something you like.
Okay.
Right?
What do you think? What
We'll,
pointers he said, like,
we'll give it a shot for sure.
Espresso shot.
are you
Yeah.
feeling the gym point? Did he said
no,
anyway?
not for the gym point, but I'll definitely try a little sweeter version of
Like
coffee,
the
I think.
affogato or
Maybe like
Do you like
half
tiramisu?
milkshake and
Yes.
Tiramisu.
I do have
Dude,
tiramisu.
mango, yeah.
Yeah, so
So
that's a good
tiramisu.
start. Maybe.
Then go to an affogato, and then go to like a latte.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I-
Too far.
When you retire after MBA, you're sitting in your chair with your wife and your kids. What do you want to be sipping on? Bonvita or Horlicks? Nahi, na?
I think I'll still have Bonvita.